Utilities Streets Committee meeting is called to order at 3:32. Present are Councilman McLaughlin, Mr. Insman, Mr. Geis, and that's it. Just the four of us. All right. Anyways, so without further ado, Mr. Insman.
All right, very good. It is May 13th, 2021. Okay, got a few things to discuss here this afternoon. So paving recap here. Paving season is upon us here, so kind of do a little recap here with what's taking place this year. So recap for the 21 paving projects. Kokosing Construction was the successful bidder for the 2021 street paving project. Engineer's estimate 467,680. Kokosing bid came in at the lowest bidder at 443,366 and 44 cents. So the streets to be paved this year as Simeon Avenue, Carlton Avenue, Sherman Avenue, Park Avenue from Tucker to Sherman, Mack Avenue from Park Avenue to Tucker, Mack Avenue from Tucker to Sherman, and the alternate bid was also accepted there for to finish out High School Avenue. So project start date is tentatively scheduled for early August, and the completion date would be right towards the beginning of October. So. All right, next slide there, Joe. Some more streets and alleys that were considered this year as well. So Fish Avenue, this is a small little road between Sherman Avenue and Carlton Avenue. Some repairs need to be made to this street first. We need to square the road up to around 18 feet. We need to do some grade repairs. So we need to build the base with some aggregate material. So we are looking at finishing this street as well. This would kind of finish out that Beechwood area of that's what they used to call the Beechwood area of the Simeon, the Park Avenue, and areas out that way. So we are looking to put that into the paving project outside of the bid, but that road is in need of repair as well. So that'll kind of complete that area out there. So with that, we're also looking at some alleys. This would be the alley between Broadway and 2nd Street. It's the second alley north of East Whitney Avenue. So if you're on East Whitney, at the intersection of Broadway, East Whitney, it'd be the second alley in, if you will. So it's between 45 and 47 Broadway. That alley was addressed here a while back. Myself and Mr. Shepard out at the service department. So upon reviewing that alley, it's in desperate need of some repair work. So we're looking to pave that this year. Another alley would be between Park Avenue and Mack. This alley is a long alley. It actually, Park Avenue kind of it's kind of L-shaped in a sense where the old middle school used to sit. So if you look at it where the middle school used to sit, pick up Park Avenue there and follow this alley straight back to Simeon Avenue. That would be the alley. It also has a cross alley as well, so that would be included in this. So next slide will show us that as well, but we're currently receiving some quotes for these areas. We're anticipating the quotes to be under $50,000. So upon receiving and reviewing the quotes, we're hoping to bring legislation to council to authorize us to pave these areas. So, and if funds allow, we're going to look at some other areas that's being sought out right now to pave as well. So next slide here, Joe, I can show you this would be the second alley north of East Whitney. Down there at the bottom, you'll see Whitney Avenue, and Joe's on it right there. Absolutely, that's the second alley there. So it's between Broadway, 2nd Street. Going down there at the bottom area, you can see where Napa sits there. So it'd be the second alley up north from there. We have that alley, then this alley here. Joe's on it there, so it'd go from right down here from Simeon all the way down to the next alley. Go north here, Joe. Keep going this whole alley through there all the way down to there. That's where the middle school used to be, and right about go south now, south. There's a cross alley up a little bit right there, all the way over. Goes all the way over to Park. There you go. So there's an alley right through there. So there's I'm sorry, it's right below there, Joe, but anyways, it's in that vicinity. But yeah, that's the another alley that we're looking to pave this year. So that would really complete that whole area out that way in the Beechwood area, as it used to be called. So we're looking to do that, and again, that would require council's legislation because it's definitely going to be over the 25, but we believe it's going to be under the 50,000 mark. So okay, any questions on paving, streets or alleys there? Okay, All right, East Main Street Sanitary Sewer Project update. This is a project that's going to be replacing the aged sanitary sewer main between Mohican Street and High School Avenue. The project is tentatively scheduled to start the week of May 31st. The project will take approximately 2 weeks to complete. Traffic will be detoured during the construction phase. Of course, the detour signs will be posted and local traffic will be open to the downtown businesses. The utilities office will remain open because this is right in the middle of the right in the middle of this project area. So the office it's going to be open, but the drive-through will be closed. So the replacement of the sewer main was planned to be ahead of the downtown enhancement project. BK Layer is the contractor for the project. Project cost is $89,972. City's portion of that project cost $26,991.60. And OPWC portion of the project will come in at $62,980.40. So, all right, light plant demolition. We're looking at removing some of the equipment from the light plant. We just finished up some of the outbuildings earlier this year. Now we're looking at doing some internal demolition work. So we're gathering some demolition quotes to remove some retired equipment from the light plant. One of the pieces of equipment would be the 3 megawatt Cooper Bestman diesel engine generator. The generator is located in the diesel building next to the light plant. I'll show you that picture of that here on the next slide here. The generator was retired from service in 2018. Also, a couple of pieces of equipment that we're looking to remove would be the turbine generator number 2 and the turbine generator number 4. These units were officially retired in 2013. Units were part of the equipment auction in 2015, but were not completely removed. So there's still some of the equipment that's left over that we want to make sure we get that off the turbine deck. So those units used to sit beside turbine generators number 1 and 3, and both of those have been completely removed. So next slide here, you can see this is the 3 megawatt diesel Cooper Bestman engine generator. So you can see the large engine there, right side of the screen. That's the back end where the generator sits. So this is in the adjacent building to the
North.
light plant. So it's in that Burgundy building, off-red building there, just to the north of the smokestack. So this would be part of the removal process. All right, so the looking at the project cost to remove this equipment is right around $50,000 less. Superintendent is having a hard time receiving quotes for the demo work. Only one company has provided a quote for the project so far. Reasoning for others not to provide a quote: mobilization is too costly because they're looking from the Cleveland area, the Dayton area. Too many man hours, it's labor intense. They're looking for more excavation equipment work. Not interested in small projects. They want to do entire buildings. If interested, maybe next year. Currently too busy. So we contacted another community that had the former generating equipment as Shelby, and they're experiencing the same thing. So they've actually contacted companies out of the Texas area to come in and help them out.
Thomas,
So,
we lost Nathan.
oh, yeah, we did. Hey, Nathan.
Steve can step in, huh? Keep going.
Keep going. Okay. All right. So the interested party is available late summer, early fall. So thoughts with the demolition of this equipment. If committee is good with this, I'd prepare some legislation to keep the demolition moving forward at the light plant. Councilman McLaughlin, you okay with legislation for that? Okay, very good. All right. On the electric side of things, again, traffic signal controllers, traffic controller replacement project. So we're looking at replacing the traffic controllers at the west side square and east side square. Just for reference, the west side square is on Main Street and Gamble Street intersection. East side square would be Main Street and the Mansfield Avenue / Broadway intersection. The current controllers are 20 years old plus. The one on the west side has been damaged multiple times by traffic, so it's had to been repaired. So it's that piece of the controller down there is in some need of repair and actually replacement. East side controller developed electrical short here several months back. So that's giving us some issues now. So new controllers would be of like kind as the traffic controllers is working the intersections on Mansfield Avenue, Main Street and High School Avenue, and the Gamble Smiley Avenue. So we're trying to get all the controllers within the city of all of like kind. So these two controllers are of different functions. So we're trying to replace these two before the enhancement project starts downtown, because these are going to be removed from the poles and placed on the ground. So these will be ground mounted. They're going to be specific to one manufacturer. Like I just mentioned, we're trying to keep all the controllers the same because they're going to be easier to program. They're going to allow for camera operation to help control traffic better. So it's going to be better efficiency for the motorists, and they'll have new underground cables helping to control the devices. So, okay, any other questions there? There's Mrs. McLaughlin. Hi, Mrs. McLaughlin. All righty, so the traffic signal controllers are being designed and planned into the downtown enhancement project. Controllers are to be installed prior to or during the enhancement work itself. Costs for the controllers, each of them run about $12,000 each, so it's right around $24,000 for both. Estimated installation cost for the east side squares right around $11,000. Estimated cost for the west side square controllers are around $13,500. So total installation cost estimated right around $24,500. So estimated grand total for the new controllers right around $48,500. So cost for the controllers. Again, these would also be part of the enhancement project for downtown. If we don't do it now, there's going to be a lot of work that's going to be completed during the fall for this enhancement project. It's got to be dug up and redone because we're trying to stay ahead of the enhancement project. So there's multiple reasons why we want to do these controllers. A, they're aged. B, they're pole mounted now, and we want to make sure that these things are pad mounted in the future, and that way we're good for the next 20 plus years on these controllers. So, looking to prepare legislation for council. Council McLaughlin, you okay if I prepare legislation with that? Okay, very good. Okay, next slide there, Joe. Go. All right, traffic signal poles. So right now the controllers are mounted on the poles. We're going to remove the controllers, put them on the pad mounts adjacent from the poles, but now we want to paint the poles. So traffic signal poles on Main Street are scheduled to be painted. Contractor is tentatively scheduled to start painting the cantilever traffic signal poles on Main Street the week of July 12th. Locations for these would be the East Side Square, the West Side Square, and here at Main Street and High School Avenue. So there's quite a few poles there that need to be painted. The painting is could be scheduled between the hours of 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. This is for traffic reasons. Of course, those intersections are extremely busy, and also for safety reasons. It'll keep the workers out of harm's way of all the traffic is through those locations. So we are considering shutting off the traffic signals when the poles are being painted. So the intersections would become four-way stop between that work time. So that work zone between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. would be a four-way stop. So we'd have to put temporary stop signs at those intersections. So again, we're trying to stay ahead of the enhancement project. So this is some forward thinking here that we want to get these poles painted prior to that, because they're in need of some work done to them. They're scratched, they're dented, they're starting to rust. The paint's faded, so this would be just kind of enhance these poles to make them look better for the enhancement project. So again, we're just trying to stay ahead of the project. So. All righty, this is where we're going to get into a little more deep conversation with the wastewater treatment plant operation. So before I go there, any questions there on the painting of those poles? Okay. Wastewater treatment plant digesters are operating more efficiently. We're producing less sludge, which is a very good thing. Removing sludge twice a year now versus 3 times per year historically. And so it's a cost savings. It's less collection on the quarterly PCA, the production cost adjuster. The digesters are producing more methane gas for the boiler operation. The boilers utilize the methane gas to heat the sludge to an optimal operating temperature of 94 degrees. The methane gas is a free fuel source because it's something that's being produced as a byproduct of the digestion process, and it produces methane gas, which we take at methane gas, then it's piped over to the boiler, and then the boiler uses that to heat the sludge. So unfortunately, there is an unfortunately to this thing. An operational change to the treatment process is pumping waste to the digesters for a longer period of time at a cooler temperature, which is making it harder for the methane gas boilers to heat the sludge to the operating temperature. So we're trying to get the sludge up to 94 degrees. The methane boiler has been struggling because we're pumping more product into the digesters at a cooler temperature. So it was having a hard time maintaining that 94 degrees. So the secondary boiler would come on and to help increase the temperature. And that secondary boiler uses diesel fuel. And the diesel fuel is a purchased fuel. So we kind of mentioned this last month during the committee meeting, but again, the secondary boiler it's a diesel fuel supplied boiler. And diesel fuel costs are currently not recovered in the quarterly PCA, the production cost adjuster. Next slide there, Joe. So with the abundance of free methane gas, the operators are researching the cost to change the burner in the diesel boiler to a dual fuel burner, meaning it would be able to burn methane gas and diesel fuel, because we got plenty of methane gas to supply both boilers. Again, it's free. So the methane gas would be the primary fuel source, be backed up by diesel fuel as a secondary fuel source. So provided we're making plenty methane gas, the likelihood of using diesels is there, but it's slim. It would not be utilized as much as we are right now. So the current heat exchanger system for the digester operation is using an increased amount of diesel fuel when compared to previous years. Again, this is the reason why we're looking into changing the one burner out from diesel fuel to a combination methane / diesel fuel. So you'll see in 2021, the appropriations for diesel fuel, we appropriated $4,000. The year-to-date expenses is $6,631.46. We have encumbered amount of $2,176.21. So right now, that line item is in the red at $4,803.67. We've already written a $5,000 transfer to get this fund back into black, but there's a strong chance that we're still going to need to consume diesel fuel to keep the operating temperature up to 94 degrees. Again, that's the reason why we're looking to change the burner over from a diesel fuel over to a methane gas burner. So that would help considerably with that cost. All right, so the sewer fund balance, it's unfortunate we need to talk about this as well, but it also all kind of plays a part. I'm kind of blending three thoughts here together, so kind of bear with me as I roll through this. So it all pertains to sewer. So the sewer fund balance continues to decrease. You can see the beginning balance of the year, we had $212,711 in the balance. You see in end of March was down to $174,000. At the end of April, we're down to 160,000. So we continue to lose revenue. Again, the revenue the collection has been affected by the lack of water sales, sewers based off of water. The loss of leachate revenues has been huge. And just recently, we lowered the PCA adjustment down to 5.7% for the months of April, May, and June because the plant is operating more efficiently. So again, the PCA adjustment is based off of expenses. The plant is operating more efficiently. We're producing less sludge. We're using less electric. So those are the big drivers in the PCA that is driving that down. So we're losing revenue for lack of sales. The plant's running more efficient, which is what it was designed to do with the plant upgrade. But also that comes with the blessing of having a reduction, but also at this time with the fund balance decreasing, it's having an impact as we can see. So we also had a couple large expenditures during the last couple of months. We had the administrative fees of $44,000 there in the month of March. We had some sludge pressing expense of right around $20,359. So invoice has been received, but it's not been paid yet. So those are going to have some negative impacts on the balance as well. So very concerning. Mayor Shag, Finance Director, and Amber Cutler, we all met yesterday to kind of discuss the balance and some thoughts going forward of how we could address this issue. So next slide there, Joe. There you go. So here's a couple thoughts that we put together yesterday. Some measures to consider for increasing the fund balance. Apply American Rescue Plan funds to offset the loss of revenue from the collections. So in 2020, collections were down $96,759.34 when compared to the 2019 year sales. 2021 revenues from collections are trending near 2020 collections. So the first quarter billed cubic feet was down 1.68% per our monthly billing journal. So we're still down. There's looking into into the billing journal, looking into some of the reasons as why. It's commercial and industrial accounts. So some of the larger industrial accounts are holding true, but some of the others must have curtailed some of their operation, and it's definitely affecting the sales. So along with this, number one here would only apply relief funds to the lost revenues from the collections. We're not talking the leach aid and others. It's just to the lost revenue. If it's allowed by the language within the rescue plan itself. So number two would be to borrow money from the general fund. The general fund balance is right around that $1.5 billion April, according to the April monthly balance here. Sewer fund would be able to repay general fund upon sewer fund stabilization. So we're looking at if it comes down to that, possibly borrowing $50,000 to $100,000 if council would allow that to take place to help keep this sewer fund balance in operating condition. Number three, we could increase the sewer base rates. I prefer not to entertain that option. I imagine with council as well, but reason for that, sewer revenues are expected to increase starting fourth quarter of this year. We do have a new large industrial sewer account coming our way, and worked with the sewer account for a couple of years now. Met with them last week. We're making some final preparations, some final engineering designs, and hopefully October, the new sanitary sewer account will be in effect, and we'll be bringing sewer our way. So it's right around 250,000 gallons a day. So it'd be very impressive when it comes to additional revenue.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
All right, so on number one, that's not
Mhm.
going to be feasible. So
Okay.
the new rules that just got released,
Okay.
it specifically says it can't apply to utilities.
Oh. Okay. So sewer and water would not be able to gain any offset for the sewer loss. Okay.
That's
Okay.
that's our understanding. So we'll have to, so that
Okay.
that will be out.
Okay.
We just talked about this in the finance committee meeting, so I'm just
Sure.
kind of, I hate to do that live, to spring that on you, but
No, it's okay.
I think that 2 or 3 is going to be our options. Obviously, 3 is that's the option that none of us really want to be,
Right.
but at the end of the day, it needs to be self-sustaining. And even if we are anticipating that fourth quarter will be better, I don't know. I think it's easier to I think raise the base rates temporarily, knowing that next year we might decrease them. But
Okay.
I mean, and nobody likes to increase rates.
No. Okay.
However, in this situation, it has to be self-sustaining. So we've done about everything we can, including changing the definition of the PCA, correct?
That's gonna be discussed. There are some collections we could implement into the PCA that's gonna help some, but it would not bring the balance up where we want it. But just the lack of sales right now, the loss of revenue from the leach aid, those are ringing the alarm bells. That's where it truly comes into play. So yeah, I've been saying this for a while. I've been saying this within the administration, the superintendent at the wastewater treatment plant, the superintendent at the service department, Mr. Geis has heard this, the mayor's heard this. We've all discussed this, that we just need to get to this fourth quarter of this year. I've probably said it before the last year. We just need to get to this fourth quarter. But yeah, it's the alarm bells are ringing. I don't know if we're going to get there.
Well, that's the thing. At this point, we just entered into the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to get there.
No, I
So-
don't either. No,
So
we're-
I think we need to look at what number 3 looks like.
okay,
Number 2, that gets a little tricky. I understand it's a loan.
mhm,
It's buying our own paper. I don't, if it was a longer term situation, I think that might be, I just think that probably number 3 might be the best. Number 3 with the PCA adjustments, at this time might be the just best route to go.
okay. Nope, I will start working on that. Or even possibly a surcharge. I will look at rates or
Yeah.
the surcharge to see if we can put something in there to gain some traction here pretty quickly. It is alarming, and we've been watching this carefully, but just the let me give you a little bit of history with leachate. Of course, we all know during the construction phase of the wastewater treatment plant, we had to eliminate all leachate coming in because it was creating a lot of havoc on the operating system. Since the plant has been back up and operational over the last year, we've been slowly trying to bleed some of the leachate back into the system and let the plant get acclimated to it. With the change of the leachate coming our way, there must be some type of a chemical change that's taking place. It's not as friendly to us. There's more ammonia in the leachate, and it's creating havoc as it travels through the treatment facility. It just seems more potent when it comes to the amount of chemicals. It's not really chemicals. It's just the way that the leachate is made. Just the way when it percolates through the system and it's delivered over here. There's just a different consistency with it, and it is creating some issues with the plant. So instead of receiving 4 loads a day, we went down to 2 loads a day. Now we're down to 1 load a day. So we currently haven't had any posted yet any revenue from the leachate. We were hoping to receive a check from Rumpke here about $12,000 this month, but again, it's not nearly what we used to. We used to collect $80,000, $90,000 a year, so we're not going to be anywhere near that. And removing that type of revenue stream for the last 3 years has been devastating. And you can see that we have increased our septage receiving, the amount of septage we are receiving now. That's increased, and we're trying to offset some of the loss of revenue from the leachate now with septic. That's helping, but it just isn't enough yet. So we're just trying to figure out ways to get us to that the finish line, if you will, to the fourth quarter. But yeah, it's the alarm bells are ringing. And I think we need to make a move somewhere on this, because it's getting troubling. And again, the superintendents are very, very much aware of this. They're trying to cut costs the best they can. And you'll see on the next slide here that the costs have been reduced considerably over the last couple of years. So this is just.
Did you see Garland's comment about a possible surcharge?
I did. I seen that pop up. Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you saw that. Yeah, so I
I
think
wrote that
that's yeah, that might be an avenue too as well. So
Mhm. Yeah, I will. Yes, sir.
With the surcharge Garland's suggesting, can that be just a temporary thing for like 6 months?
So with legislation there, we would list it as temporary surcharge. When I write the legislation, then would it specify a temporary surcharge from the months of July through December?
I think that we should write it to where council will, with like an option to renew.
Okay.
Similar to what we did before. I can't remember when we, you know what I'm saying, to
Mhm.
where we specify that the intent is that for it to be temporary. However, if fourth quarter we predict wrong,
Mhm.
then we predict wrong. Or maybe we just do it temporary, and if we predicted wrong and we need to extend it, then maybe then we go, okay, that didn't fix it, therefore we need to actually look at a rate increase.
Okay.
Nathan,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
this is, and to address Steve's question, we can write it any way we want because we write the laws. But, something, simple as, whatever the bill is, the bottom line is calculated and we say, okay, it's going to be, here's a figure. I have no idea where it came from, except, plus a 15% surcharge in effect until December 31st, 2021. Again, something that's very clear. It's stopgap. We are in a bad fix and we need to get out of it. And this is the surcharge is quick and dirty. You don't have to go through each of the parts. It's just, we're going to add percent to the calculated bill. So instead of paying your bill, you pay your bill plus 15%.
Okay. But I'll work on this and I'll get something to council, the first meeting in June. So it'll be the June 7th meeting. Okay. Very good.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, I'm glad you was able to give me some information on that, Mr. Martin. That was good, because yesterday it looks really good with the way we have it kind of laid out, but unfortunately that's just, it's not going to work. But if you could, Joe, can you go back a slide there? That way we can kind of review some of the financials on this. You can see with the upgrade, we'll start here down at the bottom and we're working our way up. So in 2019, you look at the electric cost. I'm trying to compare the first quarters. So you can see where the first quarter of 2019 electric, we're at 56,000. 2020, we're at 46,000. This quarter, 2021 electric, 37,000. So the plant's operating more efficiently. And if you look at the sludge, you kind of go over three spaces there, if you will. Sludge at the bottom here, it's 41,000. We'll just say 42,000. Then we go to 30,000. Now we're at 22,500. So the plant is operating more efficient. And if you go all the way to the right there, you'll see total PCA expenditures. Again, if we start at the bottom, 113,000, 88,000, and 73,000. So the plant itself is operating more efficiently. But what's really interesting on the very far right there, the build cubic feet, if you start down at the bottom there, you're looking at 9 million cubic feet. Then we go to 7 million cubic feet, a little over, I'll say 7.1 million cubic feet. Now we're at 6.9 million cubic feet or 7 million cubic feet. So you can see the reduction there in the build cubic feet. So it's just a lack of water sales. Again, I kind of did a quick search on some of the commercial accounts, those being the restaurants. And what's interesting enough that, with the restaurants being closed, there's less patrons going inside, whether you get a free cup of water or use the facility, it has that reduction in the water usage. So, compounded restaurant, every month. Then you look at some of the big consumers like the handlines and such, and you can see what their consumption is down, is playing havoc on the revenues. Now, residential is up slightly. The residential consumption is up, but it's just the industrial and commercial accounts that play a major role in the build cubic feet. They are down. So we're seeing the negative effect of that. So. All right, then again, the next slide, Nathan, I think you've already answered that question going through. We discussed this. This is just a recap from last month. But again, just you answered the question, Nathan. Should we put the additional thoughts into the PCA? Yes. If you kind of look at there at the middle, the ultraviolet lights are now being utilized to sterilize the effluent wastewater before it's being discharged to the river. So we have to change those bulbs out. We have to get in a rotating basis of changing these bulbs. So we're looking at $14,000 expense here in 21 and in 22, and then about $10,000 every year thereafter to help replace these bulbs. So instead of having a chemical cost, because we no longer use the gaseous chlorine, we have a bulb cost. So the chlorine is being replaced by the UV bulbs. So that's probably something we need to entertain for the PCA. And because that's going to be part of the operational cost. And below that, we have natural gas as a recovery item. We do not use natural gas out there. We use methane primarily, but we also use diesel fuel. And as I mentioned before, we're using quite a bit of diesel fuel to help heat the digesters right now. So diesel fuel probably should be implemented into this, which is going to be minimal if we were able to change over the boiler, which we feel very confident that the secondary boiler will be changed over to a methane burner. So we have plentiful methane gas out there. We're producing more methane gas than we ever have. We have to flare. So to waste that and not utilize that into the digester would be an error on our part. So we need to change the diesel to a dual fuel burner to make it burn the methane gas backed up by diesel fuel. So this bottom part when I'm talking about diesel fuel would be a minimum cost recovery, but right now, as I showed you a couple slides ago, we're really burning through the diesel fuel right now, but just we need to make an operational change there. But the bulbs they do replace the gaseous chlorine. So instead of emitting the gaseous chlorine to disinfect the effluent water, now we're just sterilizing it with the UV bulbs. So if that's council, if you would like, I could write the legislation for the PCA change as well to implement the UV system, replacement bulbs, and the diesel fuel into the PCA. If I heard you right, Mr. Martin, there a little bit ago.
Yes.
Okay. All right, very good. No, it's a good discussion. I'm glad you be able to inform me there. It's unfortunate that we're not able to utilize some of the recovery money for that, but that's okay. We'll make the changes and we'll get through this. So, all right. Councilman Gates, you mentioned earlier today on our phone conversation about lead service lines. So that's still holds true from our conversation earlier.
Yeah, again, we found out in the interim rule for the revenue loss that, again, very specific, very clear. It doesn't apply to utilities. But again, on where they talked about water and sewer infrastructure, the clearest statement that was made in those 60-some pages that we read was lead service line replacement. You know, it's as I think Finance Director Crum said, well, it's clear you can do that and no one will question it.
Mm-hmm. Well, as we know, we have lead service lines in our community. So if I think we should entertain the thought, we can get the list populated and kind of review. I could get over to the engineer and Mr. Lencheski could kind of work through the numbers for us and see what it costs to replace the lead service lines.
I'm curious, and you know, I'm going to ask the question in public. You know, there were downtown 40-some lines were identified. Okay,
41, correct.
What
just in the square
is a ballpark figure? What are we talking about citywide?
Let me swing around real quick. Let me see if I have that count. I need to give you the count. Without,
I thought
this
we,
information.
man, I want to say it was 2019 where you did a report on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up those numbers. I had to give you the actual number today, but I do have the map. Let me see if I can get that number. I can put you. There's hundreds. I mean,
Okay, well, that's I'm.
If I can give you more, it's more than 100. I'm gonna tell you, it's hundreds.
Well, I'm not happy to hear that, but I'm not surprised to hear that, quite honestly, as old as our water system is.
Yeah, I mean, you consider we bill out a little over 4,000 water bills a month. And again, there could be multiple accounts per residency and such.
Right.
So that doesn't account for per the service line, but yeah, there's numerous lead service lines in town, and it's mostly associated to the older sections of the town.
Oh, sure.
Looking at a quick map here that we put together. Of course, there's some in the 3rd Ward, some over in Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 4 probably has the least amount. So, yeah, there's quite a few, but I could definitely get you the count.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something we could work on as well here with administration. We can get that. So I think it'd be definitely a worthwhile project. I think we all want to get rid of the lead service lines in town if it's applicable. So I think it's a great project to do. It takes some time to do it.
It would be a feather in our cap if we can say we've eliminated lead service lines, in the division of water.
Absolutely. That'd be a great feat to conquer here, to get it taken care of. It'd be great. So, forward thinking there on Main Street before the enhancement project had taken place, we figured, if it's an opportunity to replace these lines, now's the time to do it. It's already gonna be a mess on Main Street, and it's gonna make a bigger mess. There's no question about it. 41 open cuts it's not gonna be a pretty sight down there, but when it's all said and done, it'll be well worth it. So, yeah. So very good. Yeah, great discussion. So, got some more work to do on this end to keep things going forward. It's unfortunately we have to look at some type of a surcharge as such on the sewer side, but that's the time where we're at. So try to make it as painless as we can. So, all righty. Yes, sir.
Hey, John, I'm done with the teaching position for this summer, first week of June. So if possible, I'd like to tour some of the utility facilities on the 9th and 10th, if that's a possibility.
As in just partaking in some of the daily operations?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just going around and,
They would appreciate that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there a particular area you want to start? You want to start with water, sewer, electric?
doesn't matter where we start, but I'm available all day on the 9th and 10th.
You want to come up to the utilities office? You work the front counter there and collect money?
Sure.
Are you bonded? We're
Yeah,
all bonded.
be on the front line. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, absolutely. We'll get you set up within the utilities.
Thank
I'll
you.
discuss it with the superintendent.
Put them on the front counter when the bills are late.
Absolutely.
We love you. We love you, Steve.
Absolutely. Good place to start. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll get with you on that one. We'll get you set up. Alrighty. That's my report for this afternoon. I think there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So, Councilman Martin, is any other discussion?
I don't believe so. I will give a report on the broadband piece, I suppose. We did go through that in the finance committee meeting. I wouldn't say there's a disagreement. I think disagreement is too strong a word. There's conflicting things within the actual document itself. I'll put it that way. But I do believe that we'll be able to, expend some resources from that money to broadband.
Okay.
So anyways, that's all I have. Any other questions? Comments, complaints?
Sure.
All right.
I think we're good.
All right. We are adjourned at 4:15.
Very good.
Bye, all.
Nathan?
Yeah.
Hey, I will not be at Monday's council meeting. I'll be moving my daughter to University of Toledo, so I will not be attending.
How
Monday.
dare you do dad things?
I know.
No, that's fine. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Mhm.
Okay.
Very good. Thanks all.